Hello all, welcome to channel Tech Tutorials Learn by Doing. In this channel, we post tutorial videos on tools and technologies that are being used in IT industry. This tutorial series covers tutorial on Amazon Web Services, also known as AWS. So let's get started for the day.
In this tutorial, we'll learn about Cloudformation. Cloudformation is a AWS service that helps us to model our infrastructure as a code. We can simply write the Cloudformation code and deploy the resources required for our project. Using Cloudformation ensures that the resources and settings that you have used in our testing environment has been implemented in production environment as well. In this tutorial, we'll create one SNS resource with the help of CloudFormation and we'll send some sample mail for the purpose of testing. CloudFormation code can be written in JSON as well as YAML format. In JSON format, we can see there are multiple sections for the CloudFormation code. AWS template format version indicates the template format for the CloudFormation. Currently, it is available as 2010-0909. Then description section indicates the description of this CloudFormation code. Here we can give some description that will be meaningful to the CloudFormation code. We are going to create one SNS topic. So here I have given description as SNS topic and subscription test. Metadata, it indicates the metadata that have been utilized in CloudFormation codes. Then parameters is like the user input. With helps of parameter, we can take input from user and utilize those input in various sections. And resources is the list of resources that we are going to create with help of CloudFormation. Output sections consist of the output that will be displayed to the user once the resources has been deployed. So let me expand the parameters section. Here, first variable, we can see that this is the parameter name like the variable name and its value is as JSON. There are multiple fields for this parameter. One indicates the type of value that we are passing to the CloudFormation code. It can be string, it can be number or anything. Then default indicates the default value for that parameter or variable. Here, for purpose of subscription mail, it is of type string and its default value is techtutorial@gmail.com. Then description indicates the description of this parameter that will be shown to the user. We have used the description as enter email to subscribe the notification. Here for the deployment stage, we have used the description enter the deployment stage of the project. Then min length indicates the minimum length of the variable value that user has to provide. Means that the email must be at least of 13 character and it should not exceed 50 character. Here default indicates the default value, meaning that deployment stage default value is dev, and allowed value indicates the value that are allowed to pass to the CloudFormation. Here allowed value are dev, prepod and prod. If we give the allowed value, then we have option as a drop down that we will see while deploying the code. Then comes the resources section, which contains the resources that will be deployed with the help of CloudFormation. Here type indicates the type of resource that we are going to deploy. This is the resource name, SNS topic. It is like a variable that can be referenced later. Type indicates the resources. Here it is SNS topic. Then properties indicates the properties of this resource. For this case, the properties of SNS topic. Display name indicates the display name of this resource once it has been created. FNSOP, it substitutes the value of variable from the parameter. meaning that the display name will be take tutorial demo SNS, and this stage value will be from this parameter. Stage value will be either day or pre-prod or prod as given by the user. Then it will be notification and it will be replaced here. Placed here. Then for the topic name, the name of the topic will be take tutorial dash demo dash stage. It will be replaced since we have used fnshop, and the variable it has to be enclosed inside dollar and curly braces. Then for subscription, endpoint will be of type email and protocol will be email, and this subscription email will be from the variable that user has been provided. On tag, we can give different tags to our resource. For this, I have given tag with key as project and value as sales summarize. And also I have given another tag with key as application and value as SNS. Now let's go to the output section. Output section indicates the variable that will be displayed once the resources has been deployed. Here, the variable name will be SNS ARN, its description will be SNS topic ARN, and its value will be referencing SNS topic. That is the name of topic that I have created here. So while using this, we'll get the ARN of SNS topic that we have created using Cloudformation. Then SNS topic name, it is the variable name that will be displayed with description as SNS topic name and value as get attribute topic name from this SN topic variable. Now let's head ahead to the console and deploy this CloudFormation code. To deploy CloudFormation resource, go to services and type CloudFormation. CloudFormation. Then it will give the dashboard through which we can deploy our CloudFormation resources. Go on create stack and click on with new resources. We already have written the CloudFormation code, so click on template is ready and click on upload template file. If our template file or CloudFormation code is in S3 bucket, then we can simply give the link of those S3 bucket here. But we have that file locally, so click on upload template file and upload the CloudFormation file that we had written earlier. So it is SNS1. We can also view the resources that are going to be created by clicking view in designer. Currently, we have only SNS topic that will be deployed. If there are multiple resources, then visualizing will give us the idea what are the resources that are going to be deployed. For now, let me close it. So create stack with new resources, template is ready, upload template file, choose that resources and click on next. Here we have to give the name of stack. Let me give name as SNS demo stack. These parameters are the parameters that we had defined in our CloudFormation code. There are three parameters here: deployment stage, subscription email, and test for length. We can validate for our CloudFormation code. There were three parameters: subscription email, deployment stage, and test for length. And this description is the description that you had written here. Enter the email for subscribing notification. So enter the email to subscribe notification. Default value has been automatically published here, and since there was allowed value of only 3 value, this value will be appeared as drop down day, pre-prod and prod. Let me click on pre-prod. And this test length variable, it was created just for the demo purpose. It should have value of minimum 5 and maximum 10. If we give any value outside this range, then the deployment will fail. So for now, let us give 4 since it is outside the range. this deployment of CloudFormation code should fail. Let me click on next, and with all settings as default, let me click as next again and create stack. Here we got the error parameter test for length must be a number less than 5, not less than 5, meaning that it should be greater than 5. So let me modify that. Previous, previous, and let me give a valid value between 5 and 10. This is due to the rule that we had defined here. So let me head ahead, and this time I should be able to create one SNS resource. We can see that creation is in progress. If we refresh that again, then another resource SNS topic is in creation. If you go to the resources section here, then we can see the resources that is currently being created. This is of type SNS topic. Its physical ID is this one, and it is being created. Now the resources has been completely created. We can see that status create complete, create complete. If we look at the CloudFormation code, then there were two variables that were printed at output section. So let us go to the output section. SNSARN and SNS topic name. SNSARN and SNS topic name with description SNS topic ARN and SNS topic name and value as ARN value and this topic value. Now let us validate that also. For that, let me duplicate this tab and go to the SNS. We can see that there is one topic created and one subscription created. So let me click on the topic. It is tech tutorial demo pre-prod notification. Since we had selected the value pre-prod from the drop down, it has been replaced. So let me click on it again. If we go to the output section, then we can validate it here also. So let me click on it. The display name also has been as our CloudFormation code, and on subscription, the subscription is techtutorial@gmail.com and its subscription is pending. So let me go to the email. I got one email. Let me click on confirm subscription. Subscription has been confirmed. Now let me refresh this. So status has been confirmed. Now let me test by publishing some messages. Subject demo CloudFormation SNS and message, this is this message, and publish this. Let me go down and publish this. Now I should get one email. So here I have got one email, demo CloudFormation SNS, and this is test message. So in this tutorial, we learn about CloudFormation code and we deploy SNS resources with the help of CloudFormation code, and we tested it also. In production, often there are the scenario in which we have to roll back our project. If there are multiple resources, then deleting these resources manually can take a lot of time. But using CloudFormation, we can simply delete the stack. For that, click on the stack and click on delete. It will delete all the resources that have been created with the CloudFormation. So that's for us today, guys. If you like my video, give like button and subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss our future tutorials. Thank you.